A lot of the news coming out of WWE as of late has predominantly been revolving around contracts. Whose contracts are up? Are they staying? If not, when and where are they going? A lot of big names on this list. Becky Lynch is a free agent. She's not contractually tied to the WWE. Chad Gable, for all we know, is a free agent working on a handshake deal with WWE. Natalya has a contract in front of her that she has not signed. Same with Angel Garza, who's also becoming a free agent this summer. But there's one name in particular on this list that a lot of people took a liking to and were possibly thinking, well, I could see him end up in AEW. And now we have confirmation on that. Ricochet was on the list, and he is the one talent that has already stated that he will not be re-signing with the WWE. I got all of the very latest on Ricochet and where he is going to end up, and it's not a surprise where everybody thinks he will land. All this and more on Off the Script. Also, the newest Bloodline member is about to make his debut with the company after now leaving New Japan this past weekend. It is not Jacob Fatu. I got all of the latest on the newest addition to Solo's Bloodline 2.0 right here on Off the Script. And we will start with Ricochet. I waited to talk about this, and I didn't want to immediately jump into the pool of content creators giving their opinions on very, very lazy information. All we heard was from social media, Ricochet and his contract are coming up, and Ricochet has given his notice to WWE. It's not coming back to the company. I didn't want to jump on that bandwagon because I am the type of guy that wants to wait for more information to come out before I actually dive into the topic and talk about it with you guys. Now we got an update from both PW Insider Mike Johnson of PW Insider and Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. Fightful is reporting that Ricochet is very likely leaving the WWE and the company is preparing as if he really is. They reported that Ricochet's WWE deal was winding down and that there was heavy interest in outside companies globally. On June 8th, PW Insider reported that Ricochet gave his notice to the company. Now, while Fightful can't specifically confirm that, they are told within WWE that there's a high likelihood that Ricochet leaves the company and they fully expect him to sign with All Elite Wrestling. Now, they are told that creative measures have already been taken to write Ricochet off of television in the event that he does leave. So it looks like Braun Breaker is going to basically murder Ricochet in the current feud that he has going on with Ricochet and Ilya Dragunov. Part of him was dropping the WWE Speed Championship to Andrade. If you guys were on social media, you would have seen the spoilers that Ricochet lost his WWE Speed Championship after just winning it just a few weeks ago to Andrade. I don't know what that says about Andrade, but Ricochet is no longer the WWE Speed champion. And this actually happened at this past weekend's SmackDown tapings. However, we were told by sources in WWE Creative that there are already pitches on the table to effectively write Ricochet off of TV if needed. They were also told, Fightful, that among those include a creative plan pitched for Raw that would see Braun Breaker take out Ricochet and basically write him off of television. As with all creative plans, they can and often are changed, particularly when reported about. AEW staff and talent this past week were talking about the possibility of Ricochet joining the company. We haven't heard that there had been official talks of sorts with Ricochet and AEW. Ricochet still under WWE contract, and we're told that nothing is an impossibility, but as of Friday, all indications were that he decided to leave the company. So feelers could be sent out to see if they are interested. That's probably what was done. AEW can't officially talk to Ricochet right now as he's still under WWE contract. They will not engage in contract tampering. In addition to AEW, we're told that New Japan Pro Wrestling is expected to be interested in Ricochet as well, says Fightful. They are also working to confirm when Ricochet's contract is actually up, as so far they have been told the first half of the summer. You know, all this discussion got started over Double or Nothing weekend when Will Ospreay was asked about Ricochet and his thoughts on Ricochet, because clearly their battles on the independent circuit meant a lot to Ricochet. And Ricochet used the word appalling or abysmal for the way WWE was using the talent that is Ricochet. He did mention that he finds it offensive that Ricochet's talents have been buried on a WWE exclusive show on social media called Speed, which is exclusively the show that X paid for. And they made him the Speed champion. Now, on this show, these matches don't go past 3 minutes. And a lot of people are feeling the same way that Will Ospreay is feeling, and that Ricochet is more valuable than putting his talents on a show that is exclusively on X and go no longer than 3 minutes. So that's where all this discussion got started. Then we start to hear rumors that Ricochet's contract's coming up. And this weekend, we found out that Ricochet did indeed give his feelings to WWE that he will not be re-signing with the company. I think everybody was aware that if it did happen and Ricochet did leave the company, that he would end up in AEW. I don't want to make any excuses for WWE or Paul Levesque or WWE in general for the way that they use Ricochet. If Ricochet is deciding to leave the company, then good for him. Because I and many other people have been in his shoes. You feel like you're worth so much more, and you just hit a wall, and you know that there is no other place for you to go, even if you want to remain there. His fiance works there. I'm sure this was a very difficult decision for Ricochet to go out there and tell Triple H, hey, man, I'm leaving. Ricochet loves Paul Levesque. Paul Levesque loves Ricochet. This is not a secret. I commend him for leaving. Because like I said, a lot of people have been in his shoes. I know people as of this week that got new jobs, and I congratulated them. I went out to celebrate with them for getting this new job. And all I heard from these other parties were I was unhappy there for 3 or 4 years. I felt like there was no room for growth. I felt like the people that I worked with didn't appreciate me or like me. And I always was given things to do only to have them taken away. I've been told that I've been great and that I'm right for the position and that I could be higher at some point, but it never comes. They ended up looking elsewhere. Interview here, interview there, drinks with the new boss here, and we get a new job lined up for these people. And they give their 2 weeks, 3 weeks notice, and they're out the door because they want more. They don't want to be stymied. They don't want to be held down. They don't want to just work and not have anything come back to them. There's only so much people could say to you, hey, man, you're great. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Hey, man, we got these things planned for you. And none of it ever materializes. Ricochet realized this at the age of 35 years old. I am glad that he didn't re-sign with the company for another 5-year extension, hit his 40s, and then realize, hey, man, I'm leaving the company. Now he's 5 years older. He can't do what he used to do when he was in his 30s. And now he's going out there and venturing off into his 40s, trying to find a new lease on life and trying to find something that sticks for him in this thing called pro wrestling. He's leaving at the right time. He's leaving at the right age. And I commend him for doing so. I don't want to make excuses for Paul Levesque. I don't. But Ricochet, he has been used consistently on television. But there was nothing Triple H could have done to make Ricochet happy. There was nothing that Triple H could have done to make Ricochet stay with the WWE. The reason Ricochet is leaving WWE is because he met a wall named Vince McMahon. The monster known as Vince McMahon during the Vince McMahon administration before he left the company was the very thing that killed Ricochet's WWE career. Ricochet came in like a house on fire. Ricochet came in basically with the hype that he deserved, the hype that was warranted when he joined Black and Gold. We saw things from Ricochet that we were not seeing in the WWE, even on that brand, the way he was doing it. Nobody was doing it. Ricochet didn't last long in NXT Black and Gold. He got called up to the main roster, and he started off all right. I felt like maybe they'd see the talent that the man possesses, and it went nowhere. Ricochet was brought in to WWE with the likelihood that he could be a major player. I even remember what I said about Ricochet back during the black and gold era. If they want to book him, they have the next AJ Styles right in the palm of their hand, and it never went anywhere. Everything Ricochet does is flawless. Everything Ricochet does is something that nobody else in that company was doing. Every time Ricochet gets in the ring, he makes his opponents look better every single time out there. Vince McMahon saw Ricochet and got the hype for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then after that, Ricochet became just like everybody else, a good hand on the WWE main roster that WWE, Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis were never going to fully tap into, and we're going to use him as some sort of modern-day superhero to pop the kids, and that was it. Ricochet could be happy and content with that, but I know not everybody's going to be happy and content with doing that and making great money while doing it. People want more. Ricochet's main roster run gave him an Intercontinental Championship. Not long. His main roster run gave him a United States Championship. Not really all that memorable. Ricochet was never going to be a WWE champion. Ricochet was never going to be competing for the WWE title, never going to be competing for the World Heavyweight Championship. The reason why Ricochet is not farther along in WWE is because Vince and the era of Vince McMahon killed any hype and any hope that fans had in him. And the thing that killed Ricochet on top of that was the time wasted doing what Vince thought was best for him. As time went on, Triple H eventually took over, and by the time Ricochet got into the Triple H administration and worked within the Triple H era, time had passed him by. More people come into the company. More stars were being developed in NXT. Those same stars are now on the main roster, and those stars are now a bigger priority than Ricochet. Compared to when Ricochet came into the company, he should have been treated the same way that a Tiffany Stratton and a Dragunov and a Braun Breaker and a Carmelo Hayes are being treated. He didn't get that luxury afforded to him. He didn't get that same treatment. Ricochet now looking at what the landscape of WWE is, everything has passed him by. His time to make an impact was very small, and his time to make an impact is now long gone. WWE's priority is not in someone like Ricochet. They're going to go to the Breakers and the Dragunovs and the Strattons and the Hayeses of WWE and their new developmental system. Facts. I don't want to sit here and make excuses for Triple H. I don't. But I'm not going to squarely blame Triple H for this one. We all know Triple H loves Ricochet. We all know Ricochet loves Triple H. We all know Ricochet would love to stay in the WWE, but the fact of the matter is there's nothing for that man to do within the WWE ecosystem right now. Ricochet's going to make even more money taking his talents, being a former WWE superstar, former WWE Intercontinental Champion, former United States Champion, and go out there and do what he needs to do. He's going to make more money. He's going to be the highly most sought-after free agent that hits the market. He's going to be everywhere and anywhere. We hear about staying or overstaying your welcome. Staying in WWE too long or overstaying your welcome in WWE. Imagine if Dolph Ziggler didn't re-sign with the WWE when he did 5 years ago. Imagine where he would be. He might actually end up back there. He waited another 5 years because he did not want to leave that ecosystem because it was familiar to him. He was making easy money by doing nothing. Nick Nemeth now is probably going to be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, make more money than he ever has, and he's going to enjoy doing it while being happy. Same thing with Mustafa Ali. Is Mustafa Ali not a bigger star now than he was in WWE? Look at what Ali is doing on the independent circuit. He is wanted by everyone. If you don't think Ricochet is going to command the same money, if not more, and the same attention as Ali and Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, I don't know what you're smoking. This is a great decision for him to leave the company. But the reasons why he is leaving is because there's nothing there for him right now. It's not because of his talent. It's not because of his promo ability. It's not because of any other reason, but he met the monster known as Vince McMahon, who fucking killed him for so long that Ricochet stock, when he got into the hands of the right creative team, the team that loved him from the very beginning, the team that wanted him, the team that initially brought him into the company, by the time he got there, it was all done and over with. That's the reason. If Ricochet met Triple H and Triple H was the head of creative, we wouldn't be in this discussion right now. And Ricochet's not the only one that Vince McMahon did that to during the black and gold era. Ricochet's 35 years old. We have not seen even, what did we talk about on Tuesday? 70% of what Ricochet is capable of. He maybe is doing 30, 40% of what WWE requires him to do. Couple of flashy moves there. They're not going to have him go out there and fucking basically kill himself by doing some fucking 730 or some weird maneuver that we never seen before. Ricochet now is going to go out there and wow everybody. He's going to go out there and bring us the Ricochet that has been missing for the last 6 years, because I know, and everybody knows, that Ricochet is still deep within, dwelling, ready to come out. WWE didn't need that from him. They only needed some of that. Just like an alcoholic. They need the whole fucking beer. They need the whole fucking cocktail. For me, I just want a drink, bro. I just want something that's going to make me feel good. I don't want to go to the bar and fucking chug 8 old fashions and be fucking God knows how I feel when I walk out of there. I don't want to feel that way. WWE only needed a couple sips. They needed one drink. Ricochet went out there and did what WWE asked him to do. And he worked within their boundaries. Who the fuck knows what we're going to see out of Ricochet now? That's the most exciting thing about it. You don't think he's hungry to get out there? You don't think he wants to win a world championship? You don't think he knows that he's a world championship caliber performer? People have been saying it for fucking years. Everybody say, oh, he's not a championship caliber athlete because his promo ability isn't up to snuff. Who gives a shit? He's going to go to AEW and he's going to wow everybody with the fucking in-ring performances that we know he's capable of. Now, that's a whole different discussion for a different day. Ricochet's probably going to end up landing in AEW. Tony Khan's probably fucking drooling at the mouth, foaming at the mouth to sign this guy and get him in the ring with fucking Rey Fenix and Penta and Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega and whoever else is on that roster that Tony Khan fucking fantasizes about, dreaming up these dream matches with no fucking story because he books matches for the sickos. Tony Khan is already penning up a contract to bring Ricochet into the company and get that match with Will Ospreay done and over with. If you don't think he's ready to do that, again, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking. But Ricochet landing in AEW, what exactly do you think is going to happen with Ricochet coming on over to the AEW roster? You think he's going to be some sort of game changer? He's not. For all the AEW elitists out there, it's not going to be some sort of fucking game changer. I'm done and over with using game changer for these people coming on into AEW. None of them make a difference. None of them. Will Ospreay hasn't made a difference. Mercedes hasn't made a difference. Okada hasn't made a difference. The only man that makes a fucking difference on that show is MJF. Swerve as champion hasn't made a difference. None of these people make a fucking difference. MJF is the only one that makes a difference. You can bring in your indie darlings all you want. There's only one fucking man that boosts the ratings every time he's on TV. There's only one guy that people want to see weekly, and that's MJF. Everything else is just a great fucking wrestling match with no goddamn fucking feeling. That's great. I don't mind that every now and then, but I'm not here for fucking acrobatics and fucking gymnasts jumping around for 15 minutes, wowing me. I want to be wowed by fucking story. I want to be wowed by feeling. I want to be wowed by emotion. I don't understand why WWE and AEW sometimes don't understand that. Tony Khan certainly doesn't understand it because he's looking to get Ricochet in the ring with anybody and everybody that he possibly can. And it's going to be a competition. You don't think Tony Khan's going to want to book Ricochet better than Triple H? For all we know, Triple H wants to keep Ricochet. He doesn't want to be there. I don't really expect Ricochet to go to AEW and be a world champion. He's going to go to a roster that basically has 7 Ricochets. Now, Ricochet is the one and only for sure, but I mean, when you got Will Ospreay on your AEW roster, what the fuck do you think you're getting out of Ricochet? I don't really understand what the difference is there. He's not going to be a world champion. It'll be great for 2 or 3 weeks. He'll settle into a fucking role like everybody else and be just like everybody else and feel like everybody else. Yeah, they'll give him a continental title. Yeah, they'll give him an international title. Yeah, they'll give him a fucking trios title, whatever the fuck they want to do with him. He's never going to be a world champion over there. If he goes to New Japan, I could see him being an IWGP world champion. If he goes to TNA, I could absolutely see him be a world champion, but who knows if he wants to do that? Who knows if he wants to do that? He'll be afforded that by going to AEW. He could certainly work New Japan wherever he wants. He could work the Indies and be a world champion over here. He could be a world champion over here. For fuck's sakes, he could be the world champion for us at House of Glory. He was the first ever House of Glory world champion. He can do whatever he wants. He can command whatever he wants to make monetarily. But if you think WWE is going to lose sleep over losing Ricochet, they're just going to fucking slide someone else in there to fill that void. They don't need him. AEW doesn't need him. AEW is going to bring him in because they want to get those matches out of him. He's going to be paid, but I don't really see how everybody's going to create this social media discourse about Ricochet leaving WWE and then going to AEW. He's going to be labeled a traitor. No, he's not a traitor. He just wants somebody, or he is somebody that wants more for himself. He is somebody that sees bigger for himself. If you don't want more for yourself, I don't know why the fuck you wake up every single morning. I don't. That man wakes up every single morning going to do a mid-level job, and he's in a rut. He's in a hole that he is never going to get out of. It's not going to be any different over in AEW. It'll be great for, like I said, 2 or 3 weeks, but there's so much more for him to do than just go to AEW. I commend him for leaving. I don't really see it being a game-changing move to go to AEW. I don't see WWE losing sleep. He's not some sort of fucking, oh my God, I'm going to miss Ricochet. They're not going to lose sleep over losing this guy. Him being off television is not going to make a fucking lick of a difference. Him going to AEW is not going to be a fucking difference maker. Good for him, though. I'm happy he's making a decision for himself that obviously is a difficult one to make, being that the most important thing in his life right now, his fiance, is still working with the company. And no, she's not leaving. No, this will not get Samantha Irvin out of WWE because her soon-to-be husband is leaving. I'm sure it's a mutually joint decision, and I'm sure it's a decision that he consulted her on as well. But good for him. Good for him leaving, and good for him on betting on himself. I love to see it. When it happens, I'll keep you guys posted on Ricochet leaving the WWE, probably ending up in AEW. The Bloodline could be getting a new member very, very soon. Not named Jacob Fatu. Hikuleo is headed to WWE after wrapping up with New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Bloodline saga is far from over, as Solo Sikoa leads this new Bloodline 2.0 in the absence of Roman Reigns. There is always room for more members in this group, obviously family-related. And Hikuleo, the latest member of the family, is on the way. Earlier this year, it was reported that New Japan Pro Wrestling star Hikuleo's contract was set to expire in 2024. Following the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion event this past weekend, many believed he had finished up with the company, and that seems to be the case. Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net reports that Hikuleo's final date was on June 9th at Dominion. Sources within the company suggest he is headed to WWE, likely to join his family in the current Bloodline story. The timing of Hikuleo's WWE TV debut is unknown, as we still not have gotten the debut of Jacob Fatu, who is also expected to join the Bloodline story. Fatu's creative is being handled very closely with a very small circle of people in the know, including Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Hikuleo has wrestled for AEW in the past, but it has been years since his last match with AEW. His final AEW appearance was on January 6th, 2022, in a match where he teamed with Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson against Christian Cage, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Matt Hardy. A clusterfuck, not surprised by AEW. His final match in New Japan took place at Dominion on June 9th at Osaka Hall as part of the Best of the Super Juniors 31 final event. In this IWGP Tag Team title and New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team title 4-way elimination tornado match, TMDK defeated Chase Owens and Kenta of Bullet Club, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo of Guerrillas of Destiny. Hikuleo is the younger brother of current WWE superstar Tama Tonga and the son of Haku, WWE legend. So it would make sense for him to be in the Bloodline story, obviously to stand alongside his brother as they are continuing to evolve past Roman Reigns and the original incarnation of the Bloodline. I'm assuming, I don't know when he comes in. I'm not going to make a guesstimation. WWE is probably inking a deal with him now. I could see him coming in later this summer, maybe around SummerSlam time. Roman Reigns comes back. I don't think we see Jacob Fatu until we see Roman Reigns return. And now with Hikuleo, it's seemingly looking like things are becoming a little bit more clear. Hikuleo is probably going to join Solo Sikoa's bloodline, leaving that group with Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Hikuleo, 4, and Paul Heyman, who's obviously the wise man, but we don't know who he's going to be the wise man for. It's going to be Solo Sikoa, or it's going to be with Roman Reigns when it comes back. 4. When Roman Reigns comes back, clearly the story is going to be he's got to get Jimmy and Jay on his side. He's got to get the original OG bloodline back together. And I think Roman shows up with Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu is going to be in line with Roman Reigns, making him a babyface in the process and making him the star of the entire story. And I think the introduction of Jacob Fatu, putting him in the Bloodline 2.0, yeah, it's got some pros. It certainly has some cons. One of those cons from WWE was if Jacob Fatu joins Solo Sikoa, he's going to be the star of the show. He can't be the star of the show with Roman Reigns there, but he could certainly be made into a star of the show working alongside Roman Reigns. So that's where I think now we get all of this kind of going. The path is a lot clearer. Hikuleo is going to come on in. When and where, we don't know. But with Roman Reigns coming back, I could see Jacob Fatu becoming a babyface, coming in as a babyface, and feeding off the star that is Roman Reigns, making the bloodline, the OG bloodline with Jacob Fatu against Solo's bloodline as we head into War Games. So we have a new bloodline member in Hikuleo, and that is probably going to happen at some time this summer. So more members to be added as the Bloodline Civil War is certainly on its way to the next chapter on WWE television. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's upload, if you did listen to what I said about Ricochet, you disagree or agree, I'd love if you sign off and leave me a comment in the comments section below. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all of last week's content. It's all on the homepage for you. Please hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes right here on OTS for this Monday, June 10th, 2014. And I will be live after Monday Night Raw tonight, where I'm sure we'll discuss more Ricochet and we'll go over what happens coming out of Monday Night Raw tonight, live immediately after the show is over, right here on Off the Script. Guys, enjoy your Monday, and I'll see you tonight after Monday Night Raw right here on OTS.